Hello everyone, welcome to my Scribble Treehouse. Today I thought I would share my journey over the last few years as a complete beginner artist, finding creativity and joy through watercolor painting. So I initially started on loose pieces of paper. They were not watercolor paper, it was just a notepad. And I eventually cut them out and stuck them all into this sketchbook so that I could have them all together. So my first painting was this one. It was March 2020, early days of the COVID pandemic. I was stuck at home with my young son who was in kindergarten at the time, and I was looking for a creative outlet. And so I picked up my son's little kiddie watercolor set and the little rubbish little brush that comes with it. And I painted this scene. And I had quite a lot of fun doing it. And I thought, oh, I should do this more often. This is actually quite relaxing. And so the next time I went grocery shopping at Lidl, they had a couple of art supplies. And so I purchased a pack of soft pastels because they didn't have any paints, and I thought I'd try with soft pastels. So I brought them home and I tried to work with them a little bit. I did end up mixing them with water, as you can see here, and I did quite a few pictures with them, but I didn't enjoy them as much as I thought I would. I worked with them for a while, and here you can see some of the pictures I did with them. I did not fix these paintings afterwards, so they are unfortunately somewhat smudged. And I wasn't enjoying that very much, so I went back to my son's little watercolor set and a black big pen that I found lying around. And so I did these couple of pictures. And then I went back to the pastels. As you can see, I was really experimenting and trying to figure out what I enjoyed and what was working for me nicely. With the limited supplies that I had at that point, none of the art shops or anything like that were open, so I didn't have access to purchase anything specific at that point. And then I took a little set of, again, very cheap, designed for kindergarten, acrylic paints, and I painted this, but I really didn't enjoy it. Really didn't enjoy it. And so I then, on another shopping trip, managed to get hold of a small set of Croyle watercolor tubes, 12 pack, and a few water brushes from Lidl, the Crelando range. And so I started working with those. I found a waterproof fine liner black pen, and I started doing these little line and watercolor pictures. Everything was very, very simple, no values, but I was enjoying just getting the shapes and trying to capture the essence of the pictures that I was trying to draw. At this point, everything that I was drawing was from reference pictures from my photo albums. And then I decided here to try just painting loosely with the watercolor without adding any ink to it. And so I practiced here a little bit some brush techniques. Here again, just a little tutorial on some brush techniques that I used with flowers. Again, most of these were just from random reference pictures from my photo album or from pictures online that I found. And I was playing with trying to mix colors, but I was really unhappy with the way that it turned out because I found that the colors were very unnatural. Somehow it didn't come across the way that I wanted it to. But I kept it because, you know, it's always good to see your progress and to work on things. And then here I started slowly to get a little bit more into the feel of the painting. and to get a little bit braver with mixing. I was still struggling. I really, really overworked the paper here. I put layer after layer after layer after layer. Didn't manage to get it to look the way that I wanted. These were supposed to be hay bales in a field. And a friend joked that it looked like a pepperoni pizza. So this became my pepperoni pizza picture. I really overworked the paper, but was starting to get braver with my concepts. Here again, I was struggling with the details. I couldn't figure out how to get the values, and so I did end up adding a little bit of ink lining into it to try and give it some depth after I had finished painting. Likewise, here I again was really struggling to get values and depth, and so I again went in with some ink line work afterwards. I was relatively happy with the picture, but I really wanted to be able to paint without the line work, and so I again was trying here to get some more depth and value just with the watercolors alone. And then these were tutorials that I followed from, I think, Instagram it was at that point. Again, I was trying to avoid adding ink lines and just going straight in with the watercolor. This painting was a small tutorial from Ellen Crimmy Trent, one of her miniature tutorials on YouTube. I was actually quite happy with how that turned out. I liked the very sort of washy, impressionistic kind of feel of the painting here. I really enjoyed that. And then I managed to get hold of a water-soluble graphite pencil. And so I was waiting one day for the metro, and I did a little sketch and went over it with my water brush afterwards. You can tell that I have no idea how to actually use the pencil. It's a very poorly rendered picture, but I had quite a lot of fun drawing it. And then we were in another quarantine, and I was just taking the opportunity to draw some pictures out of the windows of buildings that I was in. Again, I was using line and watercolor here. And it was around this painting that I felt like I was starting to develop a little bit of my own style with the line and watercolor pictures, and that I was enjoying that quite a lot. And so for a while, I went on to do the line and watercolor options, like in these paintings. I was trying very much here to catch the light that was coming out of this window. Not sure I did the best job, but and unfortunately, I damaged the paper as well. But I enjoyed these. They were both off-reference pictures. Here I decided to try and do a couple of the Inktober prompts that were being shown that year. This was Wisp, and so I had the wisps of smoke from the candle. This was done with the water-soluble graphite pencil and ink. And then this one was Fish. So this was just supposed to be fish in a pond, again with some ink line work. And then I did these two off-reference pictures as well. I was very unhappy with this one. I felt like it looked like a children's coloring book picture that I just colored in with paints. Didn't turn out at all the way that I wanted to. This one I was quite happy with though. This was only watercolor. I didn't add any ink lining to this one, outside of a little bit of white Jelly Roll pen. But I really liked how this came out. This painting I was very proud of at the time when I finished it. And then these were little plein air sketches that I did, just of random buildings around the city. This was at a point where I was able to go for some walks, and so I was trying to sketch a little bit while I was out of the house. It was autumn, so I tried to capture some of the colors of the autumn leaves and some of the buildings, a fruit and vegetable market. I to this day don't draw people. That is something that I'm very scared of and have not figured out how to do yet. So the people here looked quite bad. And again, this, for me, I wasn't very happy with this. This turned out, again, to look a lot like a sort of a children's coloring book picture with the very distinct outlines and the paintwork in it. But, you know, trial and error, you've got to try. This one, I liked the concept of the picture, but I felt that the colors all kind of became a bit muddy. So I was still struggling to learn to mix the colors. I really wanted some more muted dark colors, but was struggling to mix them. Then this picture was a plein air sketch with a Koh-i-Noor rainbow pencil. Just a quick sketch of a building that I was walking past, which I really enjoyed. And a quick painting of some Christmas candles on an Advent wreath. And again, some more small plein air sketches while I was out. This sketch was the first time that I tried to use a fountain pen. I had picked up a fountain pen and some ink. At that stage, I didn't realize that it was not ink that was suitable for a fountain pen. And so I think I made about 2 or 3 sketches in the space of a couple of days with the fountain pen, and then didn't use it for a while, and then was unable to use it again afterwards because the ink had all dried up and clogged up the pen. Fortunately, it was not an expensive fountain pen, so it was not the end of the world. But I kind of liked the sort of unevenness and the character that that sort of textured, uneven line gave to the picture. This picture, again, didn't come out at all the way that I was wanting it to. This was a bit of a disappointment, but again, it was with the fountain pen. Here I went back to a normal fine liner because I had managed to destroy my fountain pen. Most of these paintings were off very quick sort of tutorials on Instagram, couple of minutes of a quick tutorial on Instagram. This I was quite happy with how it came out, especially because I didn't use any line work here. This was just playing with brush strokes and splattering and just having fun. These were some sketches that I did again off some Instagram pictures that I never ended up finishing.